blowing smoke zone, the night is done. Pick your pocket, quick to clock it, rock it with your phone. Pinocchio, don't you know your nose are wrong? Where you get annoyed, this man, you doing loads of coke.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Mixtape Show. We was having some technical difficulties, but that's live radio, man. You gotta love it. It's a high wire act sometimes, but it worked out, man. Checking in from the West Coast, we got our guest tonight. Tonight's Artist of the Week, man. Fresh off of the tour, fresh off of the road, so we're gonna get into that. Gonna get into this latest project that he just released, and we're just gonna chop it up with the homie and get to know him, man. He's new to the Mixtape Show. Joining us this week, he goes by the name of Vocabslick, and he is checking in here in the Mixtape Show, man. What's good, brother? How you?
Peace, man. How you doing? I'm good. I'm well.
Good. You can hear me clearly? Because I can hear you crystal clear on my end.
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. Yeah.
Perfect, man. So before we get into all the fun stuff, man, I definitely want to know about this. You just did some Road Warrior work, man. How was the touring, man? How was doing live shows, and how was it, getting that energy from the fans and stuff like that, man?
It was great, man. Like that's kind of like my thing is I'm very into the live performance aspect of the music. So it's always a pleasure when I get to go out and actually, touch people live and do a live show. We had a blast. We hit the East Coast, we hit the Midwest, and now I'm home, just recuperating a little bit before I go back out and hit Texas for a little bit in September.
Oh, word.
So I'm just
what part of Texas you coming to?
I'm gonna a couple shows in Dallas and a show in Austin, and then I'm waiting on one other to confirm. I can't remember the city.
Well, what's that Dallas state, man? Because that's home right now. That's where I stay at. So I gotta come check.
That's where you at? Okay, yeah, for sure. I'm gonna be in Deep Ellum. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we got a daytime show, and then I think we got a nighttime show. So
sure.
I'll definitely keep you looped in.
Absolutely, man. Well, hey, man. Well, definitely when you come through, man, we definitely going to connect and link up, and I can check out the show. Because I've been watching you on your Instagram, man, with your your posts and everything, your promo of the tour, and then I was just like, that's how it should be done, man. That's it right there. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate it, man. It's like it took us a long time to but come to the terms with it's most necessary to bring a cameraman with you everywhere you go, especially if you're touring, because it's like, especially in the climate of that hip hop is in right now, it's like you got to have receipts. Cats don't want to pay you without receipts.
Yeah.
So it's like you want to keep it pushing.
Yeah.
You got to show them what you're actually doing. You know what I'm saying? Because the live performance aspect is a little bit is a little less. How do I say? Not important. It's less the norm than it used to be. You know what I'm saying? So they need to see. For sure.
They definitely need to see that crowd out there, and they need to, see what you do. And plus, it's good for you too, as documenting all this stuff. Because I know
exactly. Yeah.
When you're going through it, you may forget some things here and there. So I bet you it's fun to kind of look back at a lot of that.
Right.
Stuff too.
Right. Coming up, so many cool things that we done and people we met, and I've never been that guy to take pictures or to stop and hey, let's take a picture and do this and that. So it's nice to have somebody to remind me of that because also, you never know. Like life is so short. But we've lost so many important people in my life and in other people's lives. To be able to have that stuff documented and look back on it is very important for me, my children, for their children. It's just it's beautiful.
Yeah. So prior to this current stint that you've been doing, have you been during the COVID era? Have you been on the road before during that time, or is this like the?
Yeah.
Okay. So you say
we never took a break. Like I was out on the road January 13th till March 14th of 2020 when COVID hit. We got sent home. I was on the national tour.
Okay.
And then so when we got sent home, I basically was home that whole year, and then I went out the next year. Okay. So I never really took time out. I mean, we were all quarantined and stuff, but I dipped my toes in it, in 2021, and it seemed to be okay.
Yeah. So as an art, if you got, because we have artists that listen to the show all the time too, and I know that road work is always one of the most desired things. You know what I'm saying? Because artists, I'm sure you familiar with this. At the beginning, artists get hit with that pay to play kind of thing. If you want to get on the stage, and all that stuff. So when was that moment for you as an artist where the tides turned for you, where you was getting those calls to come do the shows, and they was like, and what does it cost you to come here and perform for us?
I'm trying to think. Well, from day one, I always really took a pride. I wasn't very good, but I took a pride, and I had a need and a hunger to perform live. So early on, I never got involved in the pay to play. I would never do that, but I mean, to each their own, you know. But I mean, I found my wave, you know. Like I would either throw the show, and I found out early on that if you're gonna throw a show, that you definitely and nobody knows who you are, you should definitely not headline every time. That's not the move. So I found that out the hard way, and then you know, you got to become an asset to the show or to whatever it is that you're doing. Besides rapping, everybody can rap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Really, I mean, my daughter could rap, but she's not good. But you know, whatever. So I mean, you gotta become an asset to whatever it is until you know people want to hear you and enjoy what you do. But I think the moment for me where things started to change, I think. I mean, I've been on a road of I don't know 7 years, probably 8 years, last 8 years, but. I would say for me personally, when I finished my last album and I went on my first headlining tour, and I was like, oh, this can be done on my own merit, like on my own shoulders, like headlining by myself, just me and my DJ. Like that was really like an eye opener because, you know, for years it was always like, all right, I'm gonna go out with so and so I can take advantage of their crowd or whatever it was. You know what I mean? You know, it's kind of like being scared or afraid to see what it do by yourself. Yeah. And to see, and to have that be like, oh, I could draw a crowd in places I've never been. That's amazing. Yeah. You know, like, you know, but you gotta have the heart and have the courage to actually go do that and see what happens, because it could be the opposite. We definitely had some stinkers, you know, but for the most part it was great, you know.
I always say, man, I always respect artists because as a DJ it's a little bit different, because when you're DJing a place, most of the times that place has their built-in crowd, so you kind of just you know, play to that or whatever. As an artist, man, first you got to get the people to like the music, right? And then now you got to get the people to come out and spend more money to come see you. You know what I'm saying? Because they like the music. So you really expose yourself and put yourself out there and be very vulnerable to get that feedback, man, as an artist. And I always say I always respect artists for that. When you guys go out there and do that thing, man, it can be, like you say, it could be the most fun of times and it can be the worst of times where it's two or three people in the bar staring at you and you staring back at them. It's like, ooh, this thing goes calculated.
I mean, I think we're to the point now where it's like, I think we're pretty much solidified as the live show is good, you know? So I stand behind that and I'll beat on my chest all day about, I believe that we have a great live show, and I think that we could touch any stage in the country and beyond and do it and have a good presentation, you know? But it took a long time to get there, you know what I mean? So I mean, we just went out. I don't know if you're familiar with Mickey Avalon, but we just did I did a tour with him just recently, and it was very interesting because I do what I do, which is not what he does at all. I'm more lyric driven hip hop, and he's more I would say like glam rap, you know. So it was interesting to see that. I didn't think that this to go from me to him seamlessly was very interesting to see, because, you know, I would say most of his fans aren't, you know, cued in onto what I do. And so when I got off stage, I got a response that was very interesting and very eye-opening, which was like, wow, I didn't know you could do that with rap. And I was like, oh, I'm like your first experience as to this side of it. So it was very nice to be able to give that to people, you know what I mean? So it's fun still, you know.
So as an artist and as the type of MC that you are, with that kind of responsibility, right? Because, you know, you're kind of in the vein of what our core listeners are, that hip hop, you know what I'm saying, message driven, that kind of stuff. How important is that for you when you're out there and you're delivering those messages, or you're carrying on the tradition of hip hop and the culture and all that stuff? I know you take that seriously, but does that feel like it's a weight on your shoulders when you're out there? Not just on the live show stuff, but in general as an artist.
Everything I do. I mean, without the culture is always first, because without the culture, I'm not sitting here talking to you, brother. Like, it's just not happening. You know, I'm not being able to be in this space without the culture. So everything I do, the culture has to come first, and everything I do after that has to be in edification of the culture. Like, that's just is. I can't do no corny shit, especially being a white rapper. I mean, come on, man. Let's be honest. Like, there's very few of us that are dope. So it's like, you know, it's different. I have a responsibility to lead with my best foot forward, I'll say, you know what I mean? And that's everything I do. So even when I'm, like I just said, even when I'm doing shows that are way outside of my comfort zone, me and my DJ had a long conversation about this just recently, where I said, you know what, maybe we should do certain songs to cater to such crowd. And he said, no, we do what we do, and that's it.
Yeah.
And it's our job to educate people on what we do. And I said, and since he said that, and we started doing that, it was very interesting to see people like actually give a shit. You know what I mean? And like, instead of catering, you know, like actually leading with the education, you know, was interesting. Yeah. And very needed. You know, it's scary, but we have to do it. You know what I mean? We have to do it. I have to lead with the culture first in our minds, you know?
Definitely, man. So talk about that West Coast scene, man. I know you represent the West Coast, you know what I'm saying? Kind of like the Vallejo area, the northern, there's a Northern California?
Yeah, Santa Rosa, California.
Okay.
Yeah, the North Bay, Santa Rosa, California. I'm about 45 minutes north of San Francisco.
Okay.
About 30 minutes from Vallejo, north of Vallejo.
Yeah.
It's a great scene, man. I mean, it's you know, it's interesting because there's a lot of like gangster rap is in the forefront out here. You know, with gangster shit. You know, ism. You know, the pimping culture is really heavy, and that's not me at all. So it took me a long time to like figure out my wiggle. You know what I mean? Because it's like, all right, I love Mac Dre, I love E40, I love all this shit, but that's not me. So when I was younger and I saw 93 Till Infinity video, it blew my head, because I was like, wow, I could be from where I'm from and do shit that I want to do, and it's okay. You know what I'm saying? So when that happened, I was able to like actually like be like, all right. It took a long time, man, because when you're doing you and not what everybody else is doing, people don't understand it at first. Now they're like, wow, this is great, but you got to really stick to that and really let it evolve organically. Otherwise, it's, you know, make sure it's authentic. But, you know, people get by, you know, with following trends and all that. That's cool, but that's not me. I mean, I love it. I love the area. This is my area, and I love Mac Dre, Keek the Sneak. I love all that kind of stuff, but it's just not me. Yeah. You know? Yeah. Like, it's like I'm a very West Coast dude, and I get, even when I'm on the East Coast, they're like, I had no idea you were from the West Coast. Like, but it just is what it is, man. Yeah. You know?
It's dope, man. Like I said, it's just the presentation. And not saying that that's what you focus on is your presentation, but just from everything I see from what you got going on, it has that organic feel. It has that. This is me.
I mean, there's a rich culture rooted in authentic culture-driven hip-hop in the Bay Area. You got Souls of Mischief. I don't know if you're familiar with Zion I, the brother Baba Zumbi that passed away just recently. Living Legends. I mean, list goes on and on. Hobo Junction. You know, it's thick, but what gets the ears of most of the masses is, you know, the other stuff. Yeah. Which is, you know, unfortunate, but we're still here. Yeah. You know, we're still pushing.
We still do our thing. You know what I'm saying? I tell people, I like to be the boutique, you know what I'm saying, where I specialize in certain things that for the people who like what they like, you know what I'm saying? It's so much easier to move in that space than try to do what everybody else does. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, I like that.
So you just released this project, man, this language project.
Yes.
Let's talk about that. When did you release that?
We released it last year. We've been pushing it hard ever since. I would say it's my best project to date. It's something I could, you know, not to say I couldn't stand behind my other music, but I could really feel like when I do this and when I listen to this and when I do it live and I play it for people, I feel like I have that feeling where, you know, not to sound cocky, but you can't tell me shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I have, like, finally I'm like, all right, this is dope, and you can't tell me shit about it. Sorry, you can't. Yeah. And it's crazy to be able to say that, but I mean, we work hard and we try to make, you know, classic music, and hopefully I've done that. You know, years to come, we'll find out, but. You know, it's something I can really stand behind, whereas I feel like I show all facets of me as an artist. Like, I got some real bar heavy stuff, you know, real lyrical stuff. I have some stuff that's also catchy, you know, with some hooks in it, but the bars never falter, and the message never falters. So I'm very proud of it. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. Was there anything that between this project that you just released and your one prior to that, was there anything in particular that ignited that to where you felt like that change happened? Because you're saying this is your best body of work to date, in your opinion. Is there like a thing that flipped the switch for you creatively, or was it just you just caught that lightning in the bottle and was just in your zone?
I think so. Like, you know, like just some, I don't know what it was, but I definitely felt it happening. Like, I'm trying to remember what the first song was that we record. Eyes Wide Open was the first song we recorded. And you know, I was recording at a pretty famous studio in Oakland. And people were coming in during the session like, oh shit, like what's that? Yeah. Like, and I come there all the time and record, you know, all the time. Yeah. But people were starting to wake up and be like, oh shit, what is that? Like, what are you working on? Yeah. And then it just kind of felt different. And then with that, it just kind of, yeah, you're right. I something woke up. I can't put my finger on it, but I think, you know, just the puzzle started to get easier to put together. You know, like even when I'm writing, you like it was just getting easier to say what I wanted to say, how I wanted to say it. I feel like I found a happy medium between super lyrical driven shit, but palatable to where you can understand it as well. Because, you know, when I speaking for myself, when I first started, I'm just rapidy. Yeah. You know, and check me out, all my syllables and this and that. Like, that's cool. And that's awesome. That's cool that you could do that. But at the end of the day, what are you saying? Can people understand it? Can you take something away from it? You know? So I think finally it just something clicked, like you said. And I'm thankful that it did, because, you know, it feels great.
Yeah.
You know?
I always say too, man, when artists travel and do different things, man, it kind of just opens up a new feel for them. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of documented, right? You'll see that even with the mainstream artists, once from their first album to the second and third, when they do more traveling and touring, the presentation is a little bit different, and it's a little bit more deeper, and they dig deeper for some stuff because they see some stuff. So
it's eye-opening.
Yeah.
And it shows you that it's a small world, man. Like just the other day I was in Kentucky, like literally like 4 days ago, and in Louisville, and this lady said, "Boy, you're real far from home." And I was like, "No, I'm not." Like, it's a small ass world. Yeah. But if you don't go outside of your area, you won't know that. Like, literally, Kentucky's a 5 hour plane ride. You know what I mean? 5.5 hours. That's not far at all.
No, not at all.
Right. So it's like, it's interesting how your view changes, like you said, when you start traveling and doing more like that. You know what I mean? Like, I was in Hampton Beach like 2 weeks ago, New Hampshire, and I was doing a show, and everybody was like, "Hey, it's really nice." Even same thing in New Jersey. I got off stage and people were like, "Yo, it's really nice to hear a local guy that's dope." And I was like, "Well, I'm not local. I'm from the Bay Area." And they're like, "Oh shit." It's crazy. Like, I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, me and my wife say this all the time, just because we love travel. Like, take the kids, get the kids in the car, let's go somewhere. You know, whether
awesome. Yeah.
And we always say, you know, everybody's always so gung-ho on going overseas and stuff like that, but I'm like, it's so much to travel to and here in the States to see, you know what I mean? That
right.
It's endless, you know what I mean? It's endless things to do here, and it's nothing like being on the road. So I love traveling, man. Like, I know for me, I love taking the show on the road and doing pop-ups and hitting cities and interviewing artists out there and just kind of getting a feel for that. So it's dope to see, you know what I mean, with that. So let me ask you this, man, as an artist and as a successful artist, you know what I'm saying, doing the indie thing successfully. If an artist came to you, man, and they wanted to kind of tap your brain and say, "Hey, man, what's the blueprint? What's something that you can give them that's like sound advice that you learned over the years?"
Well, I would tell them to make sure that this is what you want to do. And if you're not 100% sure, then don't do it. Because like we started off with this conversation, I always put the culture forward. And so first and foremost, and if you're not here for that, then I'd really rather not give you any advice, you know, to be honest, because it's so easy right now to just be a half-ass rapper or a half-ass artist and make money. But it's hard to be a good artist You know what I'm saying? So I would say just make sure this is what you want to do, you know, and be happy with being broke and sacrificing and, you know, doing what you got to do. You got to love this shit.
Mm-hmm.
You got to blood, you know, it's got to be blood, sweat, and tears, you know. And I would say if you're going to try to, you know, start touring and whatnot, you know, put together the guys that you want to tour with
Mm-hmm.
and go out for 7 days in a row.
Mm.
And if you can't handle that, then you should quit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? Like, it's too many people I know that they get years under this, and they're like, all right, let's start touring. And then they go out for 4 or 5 days and they're like, I can't handle this.
Yeah.
Like, and after, you know, it's interesting.
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't know. We're kind of in a time now too, where artists can exist without performing also,
Yeah.
which is interesting.
Yeah.
You know, which is very interesting.
And I can't subscribe to that. I know it happens. I know that. I'm like you. I'm a traditionalist. I love going out to the live shows and I love seeing the artists perform. And
it's inspiring, man.
It is. And the artists, a lot of them just don't put the work into that piece too, man. I've DJed events where I'm like, ooh, it's gonna be a rough night. You know what I'm saying? Where you know what I'm saying, this guy doesn't even know his own lyrics. So you know what I'm saying, that's a whole nother thing. So it's always dope to see. No, go for it.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, absolutely.
As a DJ, since we're hot off I don't know if you're familiar with the events in LA last weekend with the Wiz Khalifa. How do you feel about that as a DJ?
It's, you know, we've been kind of placed on the back burner here over the past few years, so it's accepted. You know what I'm saying? How you treated that DJ. I felt for that DJ because I've been in those situations where artists try to bully foot me on the stage. You know what I'm saying? But I'm come from a place too where if you touch me or my gear, we're gonna have some problems. We're gonna move some furniture. You know what I'm saying? Yes, sir. And but I felt like it's a bad look all the way around. It's a bad look for that promoter who put that event on. You know what I'm saying? Because he let Wiz and his crew just kind of come through and run it because the money was coming in. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I feel bad for that DJ because that's going to create some sort of, for lack of better words, PTSD type situation. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Because we got to balance a lot, and a lot of people don't see what we do during those shows and while we're in the club and balancing people in your ear all that time. So it's a bad look. I thought Wiz was cooler than that, to be honest with you. Just from I don't know him personally, so it kind of surprised me to see him act that way. But I'm not surprised too because he's a multi-millionaire who sold billions of records. So
yeah, and you know how this can all be circumvented?
How's that?
Bring your own fucking DJ, bro.
You know what? And I'm surprised because he has his own DJs. He has Bonix. DJ Bonix is his tour DJ. So I was a little because when I read the headline, Wiz Khalifa goes off on his DJ. I'm like, that's weird because those guys are always on the road together. But then I saw the video and I was like, huh, interesting. It must have been one of those pay him to show up at the venue and you know what I'm saying. So it's a bad look, man. I hate it. I'm not one of the people who goes on Facebook and give my comment on it, but I've been there a few times and I know I would have conducted myself. I personally would have just cut the power off and walked out as a DJ. You know what I'm saying? Party's over. I'm done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, me and my DJ.
Yeah, that's how you show how much power you are as a DJ. Cut the music off and leave. You know what I'm saying? And they'll really appreciate you then. You know what I'm saying? So we've the way things are, man, with the way streaming works, and the DJs are kind of losing their power a little bit. So I don't really DJ a lot in clubs anymore just because they lowball you. They're not gonna pay me what I'm worth. So kind of like you, if I do events, it's something that I help put on, or I do a pop-up show or something like that. But it's a wild west right now, man. With the
way around
with the streaming situation. The streaming is the main culprit of how the industry is now because it's all about numbers now. It's not about quality, and it's not about putting in good work no more. It's just about getting your numbers up, and that's it. So when I was recording my album, like, I have a strong core group of people I work with, and we were having long debates on how to put it out because of the streaming situation. And so I had people telling me that not to put it out as an album, just to put out every single song as a song and then put it out as an album. I'm like, at the end, I'm like, what's the point of putting an album out if I already put all the songs out? Like, you know what I'm saying? So we split the difference, and I think I did 6 or 7 singles and then put the album out. Because I
as an artist, you know, and I'm using that term specifically because that's very loose. But when I'm using it specifically because as an artist, when I'm writing an album, I'm making it thematic. So every song, you know, it unfolds, and you know, there's a story, and there's skits, and there's this and there's that. And in the streaming world, it's difficult to have that happen now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unless you're like a Kendrick Lamar or somebody like that, where people are really waiting to listen to everything from track 1 to track 10 and hear how it unfolds. It's becoming a lost art due to the streaming situation, you know.
I got a partner, and I ain't gonna get too much information on there. I got a partner now. We're working on his project, his album, and that was our number one thing. Where I was like, you know, like you, the streaming thing, it doesn't benefit us at this point. Right. So we've kind of sort of figured out a way where we can make this where the people have to come to you to get the music kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Because I told him, I was like, Griselda did it before they blew up. You know what I'm saying? Now you had to come through them to get the music. You couldn't get their mixtapes and stuff on there, on Apple and all of that. You had to go to their website and stuff like that. So I think artists have to get back to that, but that goes back to putting out the quality, where you gotta basically treat it like drugs, right? You got to make the people feel for it, and you want them to hear it, you know what I'm saying, and bring them to your spot, and get the music that way. So it's ways around it, but I think people got to disconnect. As an indie artist, I think they got to disconnect from that. You can find my music on Apple, you can find it on Spotify, blah 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 blah. Because
we got to find a happy medium, because I mean, as a consumer, streaming is dope. You know what I'm saying? I put whatever album I want to listen to on. I listen to the whole thing because I pay my $5 a month for Spotify, and I get whatever the fuck I want. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there has to be a happy medium. We're definitely not paid correctly. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of streams, and you're still getting a couple $100. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. Back when you was getting $10 a CD, or you know, whatever it is you wanted to make off of it, or vinyl and all that. I've even seen it where artists put an EP version of the album on the streaming, but then they'll sell the full album individually for themselves. So it's kind of like they give you the teaser and say, now come buy the first of the album kind of thing. So it's ways around it. You know what I'm saying? Man, I know you're tired, and I know you've been out all day, man. So how about we just give everybody your social media, and we can chop it up for all night, man. I can already see how this conversation can go. What's the best way we can follow you, man, and give those the rest of those tour dates too, so they can come check you out?
The best way you can follow me is at Vocabslick on Instagram, and my website is www.vocabslick.com. You can find all my music, my videos, my tour dates, you know, any and everything, my merchandise, any and everything on there.
Absolutely, man. And definitely, man, when you come to Dallas, let me know, man. I'll give me those dates. I'm gonna come support and everything, and I'll bring the little camera crew or something.
I'm gonna be out there the 7th. I'm gonna be out there September 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. But I can hit you and let you know.
That's perfect. That's perfect. I'll just give me those dates and times, and we'll come through and support, man, for sure. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, that'd be great.
Let's get into this AOM, man. I know this is one of the lead singles off the project, and anybody want to shout out before you get out of here?
Big up to my homie Starsky, holding me down on the engineering and production. The album would not be what it is without his help. He's my ace deuce, man, from day one. So I appreciate his ear and his hard work. So
absolutely, man. All right, let's get into this Vocabslick AOM. We appreciate you joining us, man. And what we do, since this is your first time, man, we tell our new guests that you are officially what we call our mixtape show Boom Bap alumni. You know what I'm saying? You're inducted. You know what I'm saying? That means doors always open. If you got anything you want to promote, let us know. We'll help promote that. You know what I'm saying? We use the website, we use our Twitter and all that to help promote the artist stuff. I'll get a copy of your schedule if you got that, like a PDF of it or something like that, and we'll put that up so we can help support that and promote that stuff. And this is home for you, brother. We want this to be home for you, you know what I'm saying? And anybody in the crew to come through and you know, open these doors for you.
I appreciate you, man. That means a lot. It's nice to have that. Thank you.
For sure, man. Let's get into this AOM, man, and hold off real quick. I'm put you on hold real quick, and I'm gonna chop it up about the Dallas tours, and we'll go from there. All right, all right, man. Let's get to this AOM. We'll be right back.
From Queens, New York to Dallas, Texas, DJ Kawon has you covered. Yeah.